This is Section 3 of the RSHM General Council Report 2012. Global Consciousness. We began this presentation by saying that we need to discern in each concrete time and circumstance what is the work of Jesus Christ to which we are called. The way the Spirit has led us in our general chapters since 1975, the new knowledge in science, the experience of globalization where all of us are affected by events anywhere else in the world, and the huge issues about sustainability of our planet lead naturally to the second general chapter commitment, Global Consciousness. This commitment asks us to respond by transcending our personal, cultural, and national boundaries, and by taking bold steps to promote a new vision of a global community. As an institute, we have done this by strongly supporting the development of our JPIC network and our NGO at the UN. Both Bridget Driscoll and Antonietta Abreu participated in the official Rio Plus 20 meeting in Rio de Janeiro, as did some other RSHM from Brazil, and also the People Summit, which preceded it. This conference was on global sustainability. Then Bridget and Antonietta participated in the biannual JPIC Coordinators meeting in Rome, a moment to strengthen our Institute, JPIC, and UN work. You know that the General Chapter 2007 adopted a corporate stance against human trafficking, and every province region has developed programs, whether preventive, directly helping those who are vulnerable to being trafficked, assisting victims, as in working in networks to provide safe houses, or in advocacy, in collaboration with others at the UN and in national governments in South Africa at the World Cup, in London at the Olympics. The chapter has asked us to consider an RSHM volunteer program. We convened a task force and made a recommendation to the EGC, which decided not to begin a program at the institute level. At the same time, the EGC asked the provinces' regions to assume the responsibility. We were also asked to consider a new international foundation. Despite our desires to do something new, the EGC recognized the challenges inherent in forming another international community at institute level. At the same time, we received a request from the Mother Butler Guilds in the Philippines, through the Western American province and the Eastern American province, an example of a wonderful surprise the Spirit had in store. This group of more than 15,000 women, rich and poor, organized on local, diocesan, and national levels in 1,000 parishes and 43 dioceses, who have grown from RSHM spirituality and were asking our help in developing their formation programs. Therefore, we decided to transform our thinking about a new foundation and to choose this collaborative route. At the most recent Enlarged General Council, provincials, regionals were asked to suggest names of sisters who would be able to help in this project. The Western American province is taking the lead. Institute, we have continued to collaborate with intercongregational groups in Rome. A few examples among many, we have participated in annual week-long SEDO seminars on a missionary church in a globalizing world. The prophetic challenges of the African churches and spring of the poor Latin America, and the Caribbean from Medellin to Aparecida. We have participated in the UISG activities, and we welcomed Sister Mariana, the Superior General of our Holy Spirit Sisters in Zambia, during the General Assemblies. We have been deeply committed to the work of the African European Faith and Justice Network, an international congregation advocacy group now based in Brussels. And we are a member of the Solidarity with South Sudan project, a consortium of more than 200 religious congregations that trains teachers, nurses, pastoral personnel in several locations throughout South Sudan, the newest nation in the world. Congregations participate in different ways. Some send persons to South Sudan, some offer financial support, some help with planning, administration, and fundraising. In 2000, we joined 46 women's congregations to found the Jubilee Center, a community for sisters from developing countries studying in Rome. They came from 22 countries, most in Africa or Asia. Often they had scholarships, but almost no other money for living expenses. It was a 10-year commitment, and the executive committee decided this year to close the center because the needs had changed. The center closed on June 30th with the celebration of the service to almost 400 sisters. As an institute, we responded to the earthquake in Haiti by missioning Maria Amelia Police to Mare Rouge with the Daughters of Wisdom. Her call to be provincial in Portugal led to her early return. This is an example of how the diminishment of human resources is having an impact on our capacity to respond both to missionary needs and also to the need for congregational leadership. We see collaboration with others, whether religious congregations or other not-for-profit groups with similar values, as one of the ways forward in mission. Treasuring the whole. One part of our present situation is the context. Another is the resources we have available. The third commitment of the General Chapter 2007 stated, "We envision our future as living the mission statement more authentically by sharing our resources, financial and personnel, beyond boundaries of provinces and regions. Therefore, we need to engage in a planning process that maximizes our potential for mission as an institute." As you all know, we engaged Joe Kennedy of the Craighead Institute in Glasgow, Scotland, as our consultant and began institute-wide planning in 2008. Understanding our resources, human and financial, is essential to being able to make choices and to setting clear priorities. Therefore, in 2010, the Treasurers recommended and the EGC approved developing 15-year projections of our human and financial resources. Brett Nichols has been our consultant for the projections. We have seen those projections, sobering and challenging as they are. They are important data that the General Chapter 2013 will have as a resource. Among other things, the human resource projections show that in 2025, the Institute will be approximately half the size we were in 2010. Our average age will be also about 10 years older. The exception is the African regions, which are projected to remain about the same in number. One way we have experienced this is that it is increasingly difficult to find sisters with the health, gifts, and energy for our international communities and commitments. Each of you, provinces and regions, have experienced difficulty in finding sisters for the service of leadership. We also experience this at the Institute level. The financial projections, much less reliable than the human resource projections, show that there are great differences across the Institute. However, with careful planning and management, we will be able to care for our older members and also to continue to express our mission through our ministries. With careful planning and management, at the EGC, we agreed that the provincials, regionals, would share this information with all of you. Treasuring the Whole also asks us to share resources beyond province and regional boundaries. One way we have done this as an institute is by establishing the Global Fund, created through generous donations from our provinces. The purpose of this fund is to support the Generalate, the Mother House, the Novitiate, international programs, and the African regions. The funds were invested in 2008, just when the global financial crisis began, and so the fund has grown more slowly than we had hoped. We have formed an International Stewardship Committee of RSHM and lay advisors who have been very helpful, and we have followed the best advice available. Nonetheless, we share the uncertainties of the times. Another way we have encouraged sharing of resources is by strengthening our relation with Missy and Cara, the Overseas Development Aid Programme of the Irish Government. Under Kathleen O'Keefe's leadership, Missy and Cara provided between 2004 and 2011 €2,587,437 to support our mission projects. Breatha Shelley has been assisting Kathleen, and she will continue to work with Kate Nolan as she assumes the leadership. We see expanding our fundraising efforts as a future task. Fundraising is only one of many reasons for developing our new Institute website, another aspect of treasuring the whole. We hope that it will become an important means of communication among us, beginning with preparation for the General Chapter. In reality, we recognize that we are continuing to grow in thinking as an institute, as one body for mission. This ends Section 3. Please go to Section 4 for the conclusion of the presentation.